5 years ago, something really interesting happened because IT technology really penetrated the house. And this was a very soft transition. And nowadays days, most of you have more technology at home than at work. Most of you will have a better PC at home than what you have at work. And that's not just Dexia. That's all over the place. Huh? Most of you will have better internet bandwidth at home than you have at work. That's Dexia, I'm told. But this is really strange because now you have more technology power in your house than you have in the work environment. And that's the first time that that's happened. Now, if I come into your house and I ask, show me the biggest PC, it's the 14-year-old who gets up and shows his PC because he has to play World of Warcraft, and this is handed to the older brother, and eventually father has something that still does home banking. That's the power balance we've seen in just 10 years' time. And that is interesting because what we now see is that technology is no longer the domain of the work, it's the domain of the home. I was talking about a meeting here with the guys from Mercedes. Mercedes is building the follow-up for the S600 luxury car. They're now designing that, and then it's engineered and then manufactured. Then this is going to hit the streets 9 years from now. Now, this car will be so full of technology, so full of IT, that for the first time in history, the car will be a better driver than the driver. That's never happened before. But they're going to be very cool on that from a psychological point of view, because we have a problem with that. But if the car senses that it's going to collide and it's going to have an accident, then the car will say, I will take over from here. This is a little bit, I've let you drive long enough, but this is too difficult for you. I'm going to do this, okay? And then the car has to have centimeter accuracy to make sure that it has the least collateral damage. This is really interesting stuff. Because again, we're at that tipping point where our relevance and technology is beginning to play. Now, what's the bottom line morale of that? First of all, it's not about digitization anymore. It's about being clever once you have digitized. And I think, this is all Star Trek. There are still a lot of problems with that. There are huge problems. Take, for example, security. 10 years ago, for the first time, we heard the problems of viruses and security, and we needed firewalls. And I have a good friend, Stan Bannons, who, for the last 10 years said, the internet is dangerous, you need a firewall. And he sold a lot of firewalls. And he now says, well, they don't actually work. It's like a fence. You have a dog and you have a fence, and the dog jumps over, and you have a higher fence and a triple fence. You can keep building fences, but what we have to do is go from a security mindset, where we try to put out the danger, go to an immunity mindset, where we already build functionality that can live in a hostile world. You people still have the email attention span. But a 17-year-old has a chat attention span. And a chat attention span is totally different qua animal than an email attention span. A lot of challenges. Technology can help. This is probably, in my opinion, the best movie ever made. Space Odyssey 2001. I've never seen the end, always fallen asleep, but it's the most brilliant movie ever. It's absolutely fantastic. It also shows that we've been really bad at predicting the future. We're horrible at predicting the future. And certainly we technologists, we come up with a lot of really geeky, goofy stuff, but what is it useful for? In IT, we've gone from the old manual processing to digital processing. Well, that's the whole story of the maps. But that is not the end state. We have to become clever with technology. In the old days, we built big systems, monoliths, had to last forever. The importance of an IT professional was measured by how many kilos you had. What is your iron content? In those days, IT was much simpler because we IT people were the only ones who could actually use IT. This was my, before computers, this was my favorite device. It's an HP 35. Brilliant machine, because we were the only ones who could use it. Yeah. I mean, somebody from the business would come along and say, oh, can I use it? And we say, well, you can try, you know. And they do 2 + 2 and say, oh, where's the equal sign? And we say, oh, it's reverse Polish notation. And they gave it right back. You know, that was brilliant, yeah? Because in those days, we were the only ones who could really use technology. But now, you have more power at home than at work. And we know that times are changing. You know, we don't build huge monolithic systems anymore that have to last for 30 years. Those days are gone. What we now have to do is think about being clever, how to assemble that, how to be rapid, how to be flexible. IT is no longer about 5-year Stalinistic plans. It's about being clever in combining this and being able to plug it together in a flexible way. That's a big challenge for IT. It's a huge challenge. At the same time, we have this notion of the connected world. You know, the internet is nice if you want to surf and book a holiday, but what we now see is the same technology is being used to fundamentally change the way we think about IT. And it's not happening here. This is a very interesting graph. This is the number of domain names, and the bigger the letter, the more domain names. Well, Belgium hardly shows up on the map. But if you see the number of domain names in China, and in India, and in Pakistan, well, that's where the action is happening. I can guarantee you, you probably get 1% Chinese spam today. You're going to get 90% Chinese spam in 3 years from now. And you will have no clue what it says. Yeah. Leaders also take risk. And if you want to survive, and if you want to lead clever people, a very interesting phenomenon is clever people don't want to be led. They want to be inspired. The world is changing. But it's not about technology. The technology is pretty much already there. Of course, it's going to get better. If you see how we will communicate in the future, how we will collaborate, how we will learn, how we will interface, well, Moore's law is going to be with us for 25 more years. I can guarantee you the world will change. But the world will change in a digital society, and you can say, well, not a Dexia. Not a Dexia. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a moment. It is going to affect our industry, your industry. And the most important differentiator is, can you be clever enough to really think about what that means? What you will have to do is invest in the right type of people, in the hybrids who will actually be able to put that together, who will bridge that technology and business. And can you find these people? Can you get your technology people not just to use their left brain, but to use their right brain? Yeah. If you put technologists in space, they will float to one side, yeah, because they have a very strong, developed left brain. But you can really score if you can get them to really connect to the right brain. So, the bad news is it's rapidly changing. The good news is you're in control. You have full capability to do that. And what I see with a lot of organizations is they tend to completely overestimate short-term change and really don't have a focus on the long-term effects. Well, the long-term effects are going to be huge. So, it's going to be more and more digital. We've talked about Web 2.0. It's a perfect phenomenon and a perfect symptom. We've talked about integration. We've talked about connectivity. That is a perfect phenomenon of change. It's a symptom of change. But if I can give you one really sound advice, don't confuse the symptoms with the cure. I see too many people who are slapping on Web 2.0 things on their facade, but are not fundamentally thinking about what it really means to change. Now, the future of technology is going to impact us. Speed, flexibility, agility. You know, we're going to have to focus extremely on economy, cost efficiency, right sizing. But there's only one way for you guys to survive. That is vision, clarity, innovation, alignment, and true leadership.